Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, police are still looking for a man wanted in connection with a violent home invasion Sunday night. And we take a look at how the roads are looking across southeastern Kentucky and what emergency officials say could happen as temperatures drop.
I've got the latest on the departing ice and the return of some milder weather on the way right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The man behind a violent home invasion Sunday night could be behind some other similar crimes this week. That's what state police in Rockcastle County tell us today about Woodrow Lamb. Lamb served prison time on charges he shot at a Mount Vernon police officer 21 years ago. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has the latest on the manhunt.
Woodrow Lamb is accused of shooting a man during a home break-in and robbery Sunday night. Since then, state police say they have learned that man was not the only victim.
You know, Mr. Lamb is still considered armed and dangerous. And through this investigation, we found out he has committed some other crimes.
Those include breaking into homes or simply taking things not his.
He then fired a 12-gauge shotgun.
Barry Adams says Lamb is dangerous because while a Mount Vernon police officer, he says Lamb shot at him during a high-speed chase in September 2001.
This individual is a very dangerous man. I do not know if the general public is at risk at this time, but if cornered, I don't know what he would do.
Police tell us that they have received numerous tips about where Lamb might be. They have also searched several areas, but still no sign of Woodrow Lamb.
A lot of the victims in these crimes, some of them have come forward, and some, don't want to come forward, but they are still victims. And that's why, we're boots on the ground investigating and interviewing people. And that's how we found out this information.
Lamb was last seen driving a gray Toyota Scion, but they say that he could be in a different car now. In Rockcastle County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Information from the federal court system says Lamb had been released from prison last year, but was still on their supervised release status. Police in Knoxville, Tennessee are searching for a missing 13-year-old girl. On your screen is a picture of Jalen Hall. She was last seen on February 1st by her grandmother. Family says that Jalen needs medication for a health condition. Those with information are encouraged to call police. The United States surpassed 900,000 COVID-19 deaths this afternoon. Health experts say many of those recent deaths could have been prevented. Just 64% of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, the first cases of the BA2 Omicron subvariant were detected in neighboring West Virginia. Governor Jim Justice made that announcement today. The cases were found in Berkeley and Ohio counties. Governor Justice said he's not surprised to find the variants in West Virginia, but he does ask people to take action, protect themselves, and get vaccinated. He also asked for those who are already vaccinated to get their booster shots. Mississippi is now the 37th state to legalize medical marijuana. The drug is now legal in the state for certain patients with impairing conditions. Those conditions include cancer, Parkinson's disease, and AIDS, just to name a few. Dispensaries cannot be located within 1,000 feet of any schools, churches, or child care facilities unless they have a waiver.
Many of us saw at least a little bit of ice accumulation last night, but for us today, it's been mostly dry. However, a few flurries continue to work in for parts of the region. I-64 at Moorhead, you see what's still going on. The roads, a little wet, but mostly passable. In fact, actually in decent shape. Most of the what's left of the snow and ice now sitting either in the fields on either side of the roadway or in the on the shoulder there. Buffalo Mountain camera looking a little icy here in Perry County. Upper 20s at the moment. Downtown Whitesburg, when we get the signal in, it's coming. It's coming. Trust me, it's on the way. It's on the way. In the meantime, let's look at the current temperature sitting at 29. West-northwest winds at 6 miles per hour, bringing in the cold air. Well, we had that, you know, it happens. Temperatures still sitting in the mid to upper 20s around the area, some low 30s possible as well the further south that you go. Watching areas like Moorhead, like Sandy Hook as well, up in the I-64 corridor for the potential for a few of those flurries trying to work in from the Buckeye State, but most of us staying on the drier side as we finish things out tonight. Keep that WYMT weather app handy, though, because we're headed down into the deep freeze once again tonight. We're in the 20s as we head to bed, waking up in the teens in the morning, even under mostly cloudy skies. I'll have the latest on when we finally start to get above freezing for daytime highs coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. One Lexington neighborhood did lose power last night. Hundreds of customers were without electricity in the Idle Hour neighborhood. Kentucky Utilities say a huge tree limb fell on a power line, causing the outage. It affected about 200 customers in that neighborhood. Chrissy Feaster and her family turned to firewood, putting it in their wood-burning stove to heat the home and give them some light.
It's keeping us warm, probably better than most folks who don't have one.
Kentucky Utilities restored power to that neighborhood around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Officials say there may still be some scattered outages in the days to come. They say the ice may have weakened tree branches, which could break and hit power lines as the ice melts. In Scott County, road conditions were slick during the morning drive, leading to one lane of Interstate 75 being shut down because of a wreck. Adam Berniston spoke to a family that was traveling north from Georgia before getting stopped in central Kentucky due to last night's winter storm.
As the winter storm moved in Thursday, many drivers took safety in mind, especially during the night as temperatures crashed. One of those was the Trout family, who were driving from Georgia back to their home in Ohio.
Ice was come down, sleet, and then it just changed to snow. It dropped from like 56 to 30 in like a whole couple of miles.
So before conditions got any worse, the Trouts got a hotel to wait out the winter storm. And then on Friday, they got back on the road again, hoping the rest of their travel would be safer.
It's about 3 more hours, so we're gonna just try and get all the way through. Hopefully with it being a little us waiting, it got a little bit more roads clear up and stuff.
Now, even as road conditions improve throughout the day, officials are still urging drivers to take extra precautions because temperatures are going to be staying well below freezing through parts of this weekend.
But we still have spotty black ice. The road conditions are still bad just because the temperature is still very low. We still have freezing spots.
Some of those slick spots Friday morning led to one lane of the interstate being closed in Scott County as a semi spun out. And as temperatures remain below freezing, Kraft is warning drivers to just slow down and be safe if you have to be out on the roads.
Keep your distance. If the car, you might have control of your car, but the guy in front of you might not. And if he spins out, you don't want to be in the wreck with him. In
Scott County, meteorologist Adam Berniston, WKYT.
Besides that semi-wreck on Interstate 75, the Georgetown Police Department say they did not have to respond to any other wrecks within the city. But as temperatures plunge again tonight, they want drivers to be cautious on the roadways. Our region was definitely not hit as hard during this storm, but the same cannot be said for other states. This was taken in Kanawha County in West Virginia, where, as you can see, they did receive some flooding. The driver of that car was able to walk out of their car with no injuries after driving it into the high water. Fire department officials reported that the car will stay where it is until the water goes down. Icy roads sent cars sliding in North Texas, and that led to this massive backup along Interstate 10 after a semi jackknifed and landed on its side. The massive winter storm dumped heavy snow and freezing rain from Texas to Maine. A buildup of ice brought down tree limbs and electrical lines, leaving hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses without power across the U.S.
That repeated melting and sagging can weaken the tree even more and cause more outages.
We certainly fared very well compared to a lot of other folks. Thousands of flights were also canceled across the country. Those were mostly in the Northeast today. More than a third of all bridges in the United States need major repair work or even replaced. The thousands of bridges would span more than 6,100 miles if lined up from end to end, as reported by the American Road and Transportation Builders Association. Put another way, that's the distance from Portland, Maine to Los Angeles and back. More than 43,000 of those bridges are considered structurally deficient. The ARTBA still estimates it would take 30 years to fix them all at the current rate. Pikeville is paving up to be more people-friendly. A project years in the making aims to change up the downtown cityscape, and crews start to lay the foundation for that next week. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about what that will look like.
2nd Street is about to get a facelift.
We feel like this is probably the phase that will make the biggest change to the downtown area.
As the city of Pikeville heads into the first phase of its streetscape project.
Mayor Carter and this commission believe that arts and tourism are tremendous economic drivers.
Replacing the asphalt on much of 2nd Street with brick pavers and expanding the sidewalks to incorporate seating, landscaping, and more for a more interactive environment.
People want to do something. They don't want to just shop or whatever the case may be. They want to have an experience when they go out.
A 5-phase project that City Manager Philip Ellswick says is all about creating a safer, more welcoming place for visitors.
Just the sheer number of events and the things that we do downtown, solely designed to bring people down here, has really changed our downtown area and made it a much more viable place to have a business.
The plan, which begins Monday, includes a change in traffic flow to keep drivers from speeding and takes advantage of all of the available space to make it less of a street and more of an adaptable setting.
On either end of the street, we'll have bollards that can be installed to stop traffic, and it'll become a festival space.
Drivers can expect weeks of planned detours downtown, as intersections will be closed off in phases to build the vision. But officials say it will be worth the wait, and all sidewalks and businesses will remain open.
We're doing everything we can to keep traffic moving in the downtown area, but there will be some times that that's just not possible. But we certainly intend to limit those.
Keeping the people moving through the city as the city moves for them. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Ellswick says he hopes to see the project complete by Hillbilly Days in April, weather permitting, and he encourages people to continue shopping the small stores in the weeks to come, saying detours and road closings will be posted on the city's Facebook page to help drivers plan alternative routes. Tesla is recalling more than 800,000 cars due to a faulty seatbelt reminder. Impacted cars include 2021 and 22 model X, S, 3, and Y. The problem is the seatbelt chime fails to sound in some Teslas when a driver exits the car while it is ringing and then re-enters. Since that chime is controlled by software, Tesla plans to fix the issue by sending an over-the-air update. That means owners will not have to bring their cars to a service center for the fix. It marks the second time this week Tesla has issued a recall. The Biden administration is working to make school lunches healthier. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is issuing new nutrition standards for milk, whole grains, and sodium. Schools will be allowed to offer flavored low-fat 1% milk, and 80% of grains must be whole grain rich. Sodium limits are also being lowered. They are going down 10% starting in the 2023 to 24 school year. USDA officials point out these changes are transitional to help schools recover from COVID-19 and supply chain challenges. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, one World War II veteran received more than 1,000 birthday cards for his 103rd birthday.
And we've got more cold weather on the way for tonight, but some relief on the way as well. I'll break it all down straight ahead.